On Saturday, April 13th, Matchroom put on another outstanding card. This time it was headlined by super featherweights, and it did not disappoint as Jordan Gill took on Zelfa Barrett, two men from the UK who put on an exquisite show in a main event that headlined some very quality fights. When you like the sport of boxing or even profess to love it, it is these type of cards and matchups that you can find most appealing. Let's talk a little further about Gill and Barrett and the history that they made. After I tuned in to this fight card, I was very pleased with the action and the efforts that were delivered by the participants. And shout out to Matchroom Boxing for putting on such a show in what we saw in Gill versus Barrett. You see, sometimes we can become prudent. We can judge and misjudge situations, circumstances that will not allow us to properly enjoy what we say or crave that we want. But let me tell you something about this particular night and card. The main event that featured Jordan Gill versus Zelfa Barrett was well worth the price of admission. These two men, super featherweights, battled one another, and Gill had come in as the headliner. Zelfa Barrett is a fighter who has had limitations, but always exhibited talent that says that he could go further in the sport. And Gill, who is one of those fighters almost like an Arturo Gatti, because he lays it all on the line, and sometimes he'll get you and sometimes you can get him. And on this night, it would be more of the same for that specific narrative. The two gentlemen battled one another back and forth. Gill was always the aggressor in the fight, and Barrett was moving away, countering, very fast hands, and his arm length was really interesting because we could see him, that 68-inch reach of his at 5'7", he was able to kind of catch Gill coming in with body shots, thudding ones, pop, 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 just popping him as he circled and moved away. But what I was unhappy with his performance is early in the rounds, he was not doing enough of that. Even though he would score, his shots were effective, but for my taste, he just wasn't getting off enough. And so then we began to see the truth, as Gill is known, as he began to pursue and close the distance behind a jab, a little bit of body work of his own, and overall just trying to assert himself in an aggressive manner. And if you know how the UK judges are, they will give you credit for being an aggressor. So I was wondering how long would Barrett continue to fight inside of a shell and not begin to open up. But lo and behold, he was able to open up. And when he did so, he had amazing results. He began to get to Jordan Gill with his shots. He had him down twice in the 10th round from body shots alone. And each time that Gill went down, he writhed on the canvas in pain. One time it looked like the first knockdown, it looked like he was not going to get up because he took the shot, went to his knees, rolled over on his back, and was in excruciating pain. But something in him snapped and he jumped up and got up inside the count to continue. But the damage had already been done. And it was within moments after that Barrett followed up, had him on the canvas for a second time. One of the things about fights like this is you just don't know how fighters are going to respond when certain trial happens. And in the instance, when we talk about what Barrett was doing, he was effective, but it just wasn't enough during the midst of how the fight was being scored. And I was like, man, it's getting late in this fight and he needs to do something. Now, when he did break through with those body shots, it was all she wrote. And Gill tried his best to fight through that. But those shots were hurting him early on, which is why I was complaining that we weren't seeing enough of Barrett letting his hands go. And sure enough, in the later rounds, this was scheduled for 12. And he managed to get to Jordan, like I said, in that 10th round. And therefore, he didn't have to worry about the scorecards. But the judges had the fight 85-86 on 2 scorecards and 84-88. And when you look at it, the way that they were scoring it in favor of Barrett, believe it or not. But I thought Jordan Gill had the edge. And it was the stoppage that, of course, it sealed the victory for Barrett. But man, what a fight. And I like to see Barrett get a title shot. If he would have faced someone with the likes of O'Shaquie Foster, man, what a fight would that be? Because his body punching is dangerous, people. And O'Shaquie is a little bit vulnerable at times to shots, but he's a game fighter as well and would be willing and looking to take it, straight to the opponent. So, man, hats off and shout out to Zelfa Barrett for being able to pull out this victory. It was not an easy task. And let's not forget the fact that Jordan Gill was riding high on the victory of Michael Conlan back in December of 2023. He had Conlan down in the 2nd round and stopped him in the 7th with a brutal uppercut. But it was the kind of fight, like I said, fight fans fight. Guys giving and taking a little bit. But Barrett is a quality boxer with a punch. As we look at where he stands now, we know that his record is now, after this fight, 31-2 with 17 KOs, And when we look at Gill, where his record has fallen, he's now 28-3-1 with 9 KOs. And either guy should get an opportunity at a world title within the next year or so, maybe before the end of this year for Barrett. And I don't think that Jordan Gill is that far off himself, because they are quality gentlemen and a lot of sportsmanship shown between the two of them, even in the aftermath of the results of the fight. This is what I look forward to when I watch boxing. And I can't get enough of the men who come out and show character, resolve, and give a wholehearted effort, win, lose, or draw. Those are the kind of fighters that Stormy B-Man really likes to see, and I am so thankful that I caught this fight live. Check it out if you haven't. It's on the DAZN network. What a great fight between these two men. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what your thoughts are about these two men and the fight that they had. Was it entertaining to you? Did you enjoy it as I did? What a fight. Leave comments and let's discuss further. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.